For this session, actually this is related to Defense Order 29, series of 2022, which is of the basic education monitoring education framework, and at the same time the conduct of the program implementation review. If you're going to check the DepEd Order 29 series of 2022, it is required that different governance levels should be conducting monitoring in quarterly basis. So actually, we already have a series of program implementation review, but we need to enhance the process of how we conduct the program implementation review. So for this afternoon session, we will be sharing to you the enhanced process for the program implementation review.
Welcome to the Learning and Development Channel, where you can learn, lead, and make a difference.
There will be some changes in how we do the program implementation review. The outline of my presentation, it will start with the objective and then the document serving as basis for the program implementation review, and then indicative schedule of activities, and then indicative schedule of indicators of program implementation review at the regional level, division and school, and then curriculum support system template. We would like to inform everyone that starting this year, as part of the recommendation of the regional director, the PIR will really start at the school level, district, and then division, and at the same time, the last one will be at the regional level. So, what are the objectives? Again, number one, this is to strengthen the implementation of monitoring and evaluation in different governance levels. So, kumbaga, if there will be from the central office, RO, division, and then school, dapat i-strengthen nato ang how we do monitoring in our different programs and projects. Second, we need to adopt the quarterly program implementation review. For quite some time, program implementation review, nag-conduct siya quarterly, but later on, naging semestral. So again, the recommendation is let's go back to the quarterly program implementation review. And a big change for this is that it should really start at the school level. That is why we are here to provide you technical assistance on how you do the PIR at the school level. The third one is to determine appropriate corrections and actions needed to refine the plans. Through monitoring and evaluation, we will be able to know what's really the problem at the school level, division level, and then we can make some corrections or actions to refine the plan and or to make some adjustment. The next one is to formulate catch-up plan. So for example, if may mga problema na tayo, okay.
At the end of this PIR, dapat at a different level, schools, division, regional office should formulate really a catch-up plan, especially for the delay of the program or projects and major activities in the implementation. So, what are the different documents serving as basis of the enhanced process for the program implementation review? Number one is the 5-point reform agenda of the Department of Education. And then the next one is the Quality Basic Education Development Plan. If we all know, ang Central Office has released the Basic Education Development Plan, and then for this year, Central Office released the Quality Basic Education Development Plan. So basically, for this year, there will really be changes in the different indicators of your SIP. because we will be incorporating the indicators of the Quality Basic Education Development Plan. And the third one is the Budget Accountability Report Bar 1. Every quarter, we're submitting an accomplishment to the central office, to the Department of Budget and Management, and so with the CESPES of the schools division offices. So with the PIR, we are incorporating the different indicators that we are submitting quarterly to the central in our respective PIR coming from the school, district, division, and then the regional office. So we would like to show you who are the program owners or the process owners of the M&E. Sa school level, it's the school head. And then the school and M&E team. So they are the process owner of the monitoring and evaluation. For the division office, the process owner is the school governance division, is GOD, and the M&E. So they are the process owner. For the regional office, it's the quality assurance division and then the field technical assistance division. So there are two offices, but we always collaborate. With quality assurance and field and technical assistance. So, but again, the process owner is the quality assurance division and the FTAD. For the regional, for the central office, that's central office. For the central office is policy and research division results, M&E, and then planning and programming division progress, M&E. So they are the process owners coming from sa school, SDO, RO, and then the central office. Why are we doing the PIR? Starting from the school level, and then up to the regional level. So why are we doing this one? Because we want to check the link between different levels. So for example, from the learner level, from the classroom level, learning center level, school, district, division, region, and then central office, we want to know kung aning nga link ang nagka-problema. We want to know, we want to determine strong and weak points of the system. Kumbaga, through the PIR coming from the school, paingon siya sa central office, we would like, the PIR will, we will be able to know, ang strong link, ang weak link. Is it on the classroom nga na level, school level, district na level, or division, or the region, or sa central office na level? And we want to detect also kung may strong siya, if we will be able to determine what's the strong and weak points, we want to know also when and where the system is weak. Kung for example, pag ang link ani karon is ang school or division or RO ang weak, we want to know when within the school year, when is and where the system is weak. Kano sa pud siya gakahitabo ni siya nga gaka-experience ang weakness sa system. So on the next one, we want to know, we want to determine also when and why the system is weak. So after knowing when or where the system is weak, we want to know when and why or ngano nga ang system is weak. And then at the same time, we need to identify if once we will be able to know why is the system weak, we need to identify potential problems and its implication. So tanaw nato unsa ang problema through the PIR, and then later on we will be having a proactive approach to managing issues and concern. Kung may mga issues sa school level, kung may mga issues sa division level or the central office na level, let's have a proactive approach to manage issues and concerns. Now, I'm going to show you how the M&E system works at the school level. You all know, 3 years ang inyong SIP. So, the first year is the SIP startup. And then the year 1, year 2, and then year 3. If you're going to look at here sa baba, you can see here that annual implementation review is conducted every year. Annual implementation review. But within the quarter, program implementation review is conducted quarterly. And then after, in the middle of the second year of your SIP, we are required to conduct a midterm review. So after 1.5 year, dapat the planning team, the school head should sit down so with the with the rest of the teachers to check unsa ang problema or are there siya kanang mga of the different programs after 1 year of the implementation of your SIP, it is expected that the planning team, so with the school head, should really sit down and check kung is there a progress or is there a progress on how we implement the different programs, and if naamang may problema, then adjustment should be done in a midterm review. Kumbaga 1.5 year, pag nakita nato nga may problema along the way on how we implement the program or na-absent siya programa, kaso it does not give us result, then we are going to make some adjustment during the midterm review. And then it is really very important that after 1.5 year of the implementation of your SIP, dapat lingkuran gid na siya, because at the end of the day, base na atay na implement ka mga programs or activities, but it does not contribute to the improvement of the key performance indicator. So at the end of the 3 years, then we need to evaluate also. You need to evaluate the different programs and projects implemented at the school level. Now, this is how we do the M&E, a 1 year perspective, the school M&E system. So, ang first quarter, it is not by school year, but January, February, March, that's for the first quarter, and then April, May, June, second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter. Ang fourth quarter will end October, November, and December. So, for the school M&E system, and even the division, district, and then the regional office, we are practicing the fiscal year nga counting sa by quarter. Now, how are we going to do the PIR? This is the indicative schedule of activities for the PIR. On the first week of the last month of the last month of the quarter. Now, that's the school and program implementation review will happen, and then division, and then it will be followed by the division PIR, and then we will be having here at the regional office the pre-work, and then the last week of the last month of the quarter will be the regional program implementation review. Don't you worry, all these slides will be given to you na siya sa link. Now, what will happen? What will be our roadmap in the preparation of the PIR? The first one is the capability building, the orientation. The one that we're doing right now is the orientation. We are capacitating each one for the conduct of the PIR. The second one is organizing and mining the data. Actually, we already have a lot of data sa school na level. We just need to organize those data. What are those data? The key performance indicator, directing KPIs into sub-indicator. For example, what are these sub-indicator? For example, the completion rate. Kung moingon ta nga only 85% is our completion rate in elementary, what are those different indicators that influence sa nga ang bata dili makatapos or di makakomplete sa elementary? It might be, number one, is the school leaver. So kung tungod sa school leaver, pwede siya nga nag-contribute siya nga ang bata dili makakomplete siya because of this indicator. Kumbaga, ang sub-KPI influence the key performance indicator. What else? Aside from the school leavers, it also influence, for example, the repeaters. Kanang mga bata nga nagbalik gyapon siya, influence the completion rate. So dapat in paghimay-himay nato with our different indicators at the school level, we will be able to know what are those sub-indicators that influence the key performance indicator. So after that, after knowing, checking unsa ang mga different indicators, what's the connection of one indicator to another, we need to organize our key performance indicator into key stages. What is this key stage? Pag nakita na nato ang problema within the kuan, for example, we have found out nga dako ang atong school leavers sa atong eskwelahan. We want to know what key stage ang problema. For example, sa elementary, that's kinder to grade 6. We want to know on what key stage ang problema. For example, dako siya nga school leavers, dako nga number ang gapang drop sa atong mga school. We want to know what are the key stages nga, or what is the key stage ang problema. Is it K to 3, kinder to grade 3, or it's grade 4 to 6. Now, once we will be able to know unsa ni ang mga key stage nga, okay, sa akong eskwelahan, it's kinder to grade 3. But basically, when we try to check the data sa regional level, it's really ang problema is K to 3. But again, it does not mean nga sa regional nga picture, that's also what is happening at your school. So, kumbaga, sa kinder to grade 6, nakita nato nga daghan nga kuan siya nga drop out, for example, and we want to know what key stage. So makita din na to, K to 3 ang problema. On K to 3, if it is really necessary for us to check also what grade level siya ang problema para tutok ang atong intervention. It might be that other grade levels don't have any problem or small lang ang iyang dropouts, but kini siya nga key stage, specifically kani nga grade level ang nagka-problema, kato ang atong tutukan. Kumbaga, dili kay one size fits all. Minsan nga, ang akong eskwelahan, dako kayo siya og dropout. Ang akong buhaton ani, kani siya akong intervention para sa tibok eskwelahan. That should not be the case. Dapat tutok ang atong intervention kung what key stage, what grade level, para kani nga grade level ang dapat tutukan. Because as we all know, ang budget nato sa Department of Education is limited. Dili kayahon, especially sa inyo nga school level, dili na ninyo kayahon that you are going to do the intervention at all different grade levels. But I'm not telling here nga dapat dili hatagan og intervention ang different grade levels. Dapat tutok lang ang atong intervention to the given grade level kung nakita nato ang problema. That is why it is really very important that we need to organize our KPIs and we will be able to know the key stages. And later on, we are going to have the dashboard. Ang dashboard, muna na siya katong mga graph, na bata siya mga pictograph nga ipakita para it would be easy for us to understand. Kumbaga, parehal gyapon na siya sa sakyanan nga nay dashboard din ha. Kung empty na ang engine or uban pa nga mga indicators na sa dashboard. Same with us sa school, we need to prepare our dashboard. Kung mga kuha na siya, mga key performance indicator. And we need to identify the priority areas and so with the segments. Posible nga kining segments, posible nga pagtanaw nimo sa data, sige, nakuha na nako ang grade 1 ang kasagara ga pang drop. Sa grade 1, pila ni ang babae ug lalaki? Possible ba nga mas daghan ang males and females sa those who drop on grade 1? We need to check that. Kay basin magkalahi-lahi sa sila og problema. Same to that of the junior high school. Once you are going to segment, based on our original data, kakakita na mo that ang male sa grade 7 to grade 12, mas daghan ang school leavers sa male than compared to that of the kanang females. That was sa school level, dapat may bawaan nato. What are those different segments? Kung bawaan na nato, what grade level ni siya ang medyo problema? let's try to know the segments. Babae, lalaki, or kani ba siya, basin kani pong kuan ang segments po niya isang distance sa mga schools. It might be ga-drop siya, kay kini pong kapang drop tanan, layo gyud kaayo ang iyang mga balay sa school. So we want to know the segments. So after organizing and mining the data, we need to integrate now the core business. Now, the dashboard will be presented, then characterization technique will follow, and rapid appraisal technique will follow. Later on, himay-himay ko ni ang characterization because this is one of the very important topic that we need to understand din sa ang kaning characterization. The next one is data validation. Once we already have those data, we already have the characterization, we need, as a school head, we need to validate those data, inputted. And then sa validation, field level validation, using rapid appraisal techniques, pwede siya gamiton din sa pag-validate. Kung for example, naka-prepare na mo sa characterization, nganong taas ang dropout, then mo ni ang mga rason niya. Then validate, school head, planning team, validate those that was being placed. It does not mean nga nabutang siya dito sa characterization sa school, oo, nakadiretso. You need to have a data validation. And then later on, it will end up with internal and external analysis. Unsa day ang problema? Unsa day ang strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat? And I know all the school heads knew already about this SWOT analysis. So that's the roadmap that we are doing sa PIR. So again, it starts with the orientation. Next, i-organize na to ang datos, and then later on, we need to characterize unsa ang situation. The next one is we need to validate the data, and then the next one is the internal and external analysis. Okay.
Like and subscribe to the L&D channel on YouTube using the link youtube.com/@learn2lead channel.